Hello again, lads, and it's time to get started on the Hetzer. Yep, it's time to get down and get to it. So let's go down to the bench and let's start. So I'll move the camera all together rather than stopping and starting all over again. Right. So chunk. Okay. Here we are down at the bench. Move a few bits and pieces. So we start off, we'll look at the instructions and see where we're going. I've got this little base here. If you remember, I was going to use it for this chap. Yeah, the German soldier, the 1/16th German soldier. But I've changed my mind and I've made a different base for him. And I started off, and he's going to go in there like that. So that's for a different day. It's nothing to do with the Hetzer. Okay, so I'm going to use this base for the Hetzer because it's perfect size for it. Perfect size for it. I got the base and I stuck it on it, and it'll do. So that'll do enough for the Hetzer. Nice little display base for it. So let's start off with the instructions. And step 1, we get step 1 done anyway. Okay, step 1, we're starting with the tub and some of the main suspension parts and a few other little things, the return rollers here, and the basically it's the holders for the suspension. Okay, so I'll get that done. We'll get back and we'll have a look at it. Okay. Right, so here we are, step 1 done. Okay. Let me turn it up this way so you get to see. Okay. There's the these pieces here, that there, which you have to make up 2 pieces. Okay, it's 2 pieces for that. You have to make up 4 of those, 2 of the return rollers, and these you have to make 2 of them, a left and a right, 1 of them. Okay, so there they are. Just fell into place, nice and easy, no problems whatsoever with them. Okay, alright, so that is step 1 done. Right, so now that I've got step 1 done, if I could only find my little bloody green marker. Ah, there it is. I'm looking for that there a little while ago. Couldn't find it while I was doing these things actually. Right, so therefore once I have them done, I mark off that they're done. So at a glance I know that that bit is done, which doesn't really make much difference at this stage, but when it gets on to later on and I've say bits left out that I'm going to add at a later stage, I can go through the instructions and have a quick look and see, oh yeah, I got to add that bit in yet. Okay, yeah, like just say I had that piece there now. That piece here hadn't been fitted yet, and I was going to wait to fit it until later. Right, I can pick up the instructions, look there and say, alright, there's a piece here not marked. Oh yeah, I got to do that. And that's the only reason I do it. It's just so you can see it at a glance. So therefore now I know that step 1 is done, and give it a green mark, and all the steps within step 1 are done. And that's the last time I go explaining that. Remember, anybody that watches this channel should know by now that I'm not a professional modeler. I'm far from it. I'm a hobbyist. I'm going to leave it at that. And if you want kind of a professional build and a professional how to do these things, and a person that knows all the parts and how each piece goes perfectly, watch a different channel. If you want to see how I do it and get to see somebody that's actually enjoying it, then it's this channel. That's what this channel is all about enjoying it and having fun in doing it. Okay, so next step now, I'm going to be putting on all these little bits and pieces. Okay, so we're working again now on the suspension. Going to be a bit of dry fitting now, because if I look at these, I will see that Right, you attach. Alright, these go on first. See, read all the little Mickey Mouse little instructions down here. Little thing like that. There. See that? Attach first. So you got to attach these things first and then attach those bits, then go on after it. So therefore they won't be down too much, because if you go sticking those on, because they're sort of a round thing, you won't know whether to get the angle of this right. So obviously this piece here will hold them and will hold it at the right position. Hopefully it won't anyway. And same now here with these C8. I'm going to put them in, but I'm not going to glue them into place until I'm fitting the wheels. It's going to be the idler wheel at the back. Okay. And the reason I'm not gluing that into position is I want to make sure that I have that at the right angle. Okay. See it here. Make sure that it's at the right angle, because if I go gluing that in and it's slightly off or up, do you know what I mean? Because it can go up and down that way. If I glue that in and I have it, say, down here, and I have it glued in place, and then I go to fit this wheel, and that wheel won't fit on properly because the wheel is just slightly off. It's the fact that it might have supposed to be up, say, up a little a tad. So don't glue it in. Don't glue it in to position until you know exactly where it's going to go. Made that mistake before in a few kits, and like everything else, you learn from your mistakes. So don't, if you are building this kit, don't glue that pit in there first. So it's always handy just to have read the instructions first before you actually go get stuck in and do things, because it's easier not to make the mistake than make the mistake and having to try and fix it afterwards, isn't it? Right, so I'll get ahead now with step 2, and we'll have a look at step 2 when I finish step 2. Okay? Right, so we're after getting step 2 done now. And step 2, we got the suspension parts on and all the parts ready for putting on the road wheels. So if you remember when we had a look at what I was going to do, I did say don't glue in them because you don't know what position they're going to be at. But it turns out that there's a little kind of a recess for them, so it kind of slots into position. So cancel what I said and glue them in. And here we are anyway. Okay, there's all that bit done. There's those little pieces in there, right? If I can just fix the lighting a bit better here. There we go. Okay, right. It kind of slots into position there. There's a little slot. Okay, and the whole piece fits in. It's not just a kind of your normal little, say, a piece with another little slot on it. It's the whole piece kind of slots down and into that. So I'm happy with that. This went on first, then the two, I suppose we call them suspension BTPs. They all went on. And this front section here, which is 3 pieces, 1, 2, and the top front piece, fitted all nicely in. No problems, no fit issues. Everything went swimmingly. Okay, so that's step 2 done. And if you look at our instructions, I've them all marked off again. Okay, everything done, all marked off. Right, we're on now to step 3. And step 3 has us getting our wheels. Okay, all our road wheels. Okay, so we've got, first of all, we've got to make up our drive sprocket, our road wheels and return rollers. Okay, so that's B, which is this one. Right, and now it gives you 3 options again. Okay, just like the turrets, it gives you whether you want to go for that one, or that one. Now, I suppose a bit of research will come in handy if you want to be specific. Okay, if you don't really care too much, just pick one. Okay. I'm going to go for the first one. Okay, so when it comes down to the choice of barrels, I'm going to go for the first one. So hopefully that will match up with whichever version I'm going for. It's literally down to, you know, whether it's got 4 holes in the drive sprocket, or the return roller, should I say. That one or that one. Now that is showing this one here. Okay, it's showing our second one, not our first one. So will I go with the second one? I'll go with the instructions. I'll go with the second one, which is this one. So it's E6 and E7. Okay, so that's the return roller that I'm going to make. That's the return roller with the idler wheel. I called it return roller. There's a little return roller. We put that on earlier. Or idler wheels. I do apologise. Okay, and then we've got 4 of our road wheels. No assembly to be done to them. They're just straight cut off. Probably a bit of clean up, sanding off the wheels and things like that. When I have all the wheels off, I'm just going to loosely fit them on. I am not going to glue them on. Reason is I paint them separately. Okay, and in painting them separately, just so you get the rubber black, you know, the rubber on the wheels, get that nice and neat, and it's easier to do them as a separate item than it is to do them as when they're on the thing itself. Okay, so when it comes to the painting side of it, I mean, we've got our tracks then in step 4. So what I do is I do the same thing. I'll make up the tracks. I won't go fitting on these extra what would you call them, side sponsons or side bumpers, whatever they're called anyway. I'm not going fitting those, or I'm not going fitting this triangular piece. Okay, not until I have the wheels painted, the track painted and everything else. Okay, then when I have the track painted and the wheels painted and the whole underside of that painted, then I can assemble sort of the bottom section of it, and then I'll fit in these. Okay, reason being, it's just so you can get in there properly with the painting, so you can fit your tracks without problems, without trying to fit them into a very, very tight area, because once that goes in there, that's going to make that little area there very, very tight in the back to get our tracks on. And anybody knows, like, when you're doing the link and length tracks, you kind of make the tracks up in a loop in one. You make them up together, you bring them around and you loop them in. Now, because this piece is already here, it's going to be awkward sort of to get them on and under. In other words, it's going to be awkward enough to do it with this piece on, without adding another piece that's going to come down lower again. So I'm going to leave them off until I've this whole bottom section painted. I will paint them as part of the painting in this. Okay, you know, put them on sticks or something and get those things painted, and then get them into place when I'm fitting everything together. So next step, anyway, like I said, is step 3. And step 3 is getting all our wheels ready. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get all that done. It shouldn't take me too long. I'll get them all done, and we'll have a look at them. We'll have a look at them when they're all done. You know, tell you what needs to be done, if there's sort of a seam down the centre, because I haven't even looked at them yet. Is there a big seam in them? Is the clean up easy in them? Do these things go together easy, or are they wobbly? And the same with the drive sprockets. Okay, so I'll get that done. We'll have a look at that section then. Okay. Right, and after getting all the wheels done, there was no seam line down the centre, but there was, say, 3 connection pieces. Okay, just had to be cleaned off. Also, I thought that the wheels were a bit square. Okay, a bit square around here, if you know what I mean. I know it's a round circular thing, but what I'm talking was the edges were too square to be tires. So what I did was I kind of rounded it off ever so slightly. Okay, I don't know if you'll be really able to see that or not, but ever so slightly, just kind of took the edge off them a little bit. Right, now, so I have all 8 wheels done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got our 2 idler wheels done. Okay, and I did the second set, like I said. Okay, they're done. And our 2 drive sprockets. Tiny, just a little bit of clean up on them. They went together, no problem. They're really lovely fit, actually, very, very nice fit. Now, the only problem, like if you remember what I said, was I wasn't going to fit the wheels. Okay, because I'll be taking them off for painting and things like that, because it's easier to paint them off the tank than it is to paint them on the tank. But I'm after coming up with doing like everything else. You look at the instructions, you set yourself, right, I'm going to do it this way. Then you start doing it, and the model itself dictates how you're going to go. That would be all well and grand if the wheels had the polycaps that kind of hold the wheels on tight and things like that, because especially when it comes to putting on the those Lincoln length tracks, you want the wheels on reasonably secure. But the problem with these is they're just a bit too loose. They just fall off. The slightest thing will make them fall off. Because I had them all. If I fit them all, we just do one side, just to show you. Okay, idler wheel at the back. One, 2, and our drive sprocket here then at the front. Okay, so now I go then to try to put on the track. See that? The slightest thing, they'll fall off. So I'm having to go down the route of fitting the wheels now. Okay, gluing them into place. Now, there is enough room around there to get in and get them painted. Okay, for what you're going to see of them, I can get what you need to see. What you're going to see, I can get that painted. So I'm not really too worried about that. So I'm going to glue the wheels into position. Okay, so that's another one of these little plans that I'm sort of set aside that's changed. Same with, if you remember here, what I was saying about this piece back here, the idler wheel holder, or the idler wheel holder. Don't put it on, don't sort of glue it in, because it might have to go forward or back. But you can't bring it forward or back, it's kind of set into one place because it kind of clicks into position. So again, read the instructions, you say you're going to do it one way, and then the model itself dictates the way you're going to go. I'm not going to fit the side pieces here. Okay, there's a triangle piece, and there's also then this piece here. Okay, so when you see it, then it's like that. Okay, for a finish. So I'm not going to put them on until I have the tracks fitted. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the wheels on. I'm going to make up my lengths of track, fit my track, take the track off again, get it to dry. While the track is drying, paint this section down here, get my wheels painted and all that. Paint my track separately, put my track back on again, glue it into position, and then kind of mask off the bottom section while I continue on then with the top section. Okay, so I'm going to go along down that line, but like I said, even these things can change. Now, when it comes to slow setting glue, for some weird reason, I can't seem to get my favourite slow setting glue, which is the excuse me, it's the Revell. Is it Revell? Yeah, the Revell Contact Professional. It's got a little needle and everything. My local hobby shop used to sell it, and there was another shop, sort of a DIY. It was another hobby shop, but they only sold Airfix models and the odd Revell model, the basic kits for kids. nothing too exciting or anything to write home about, but they used to sell it as well, and for some weird reason they can't seem to get it lately. They hadn't had it in there over the Christmas, and when I was in talking to them, both places said that they'll try and order it for me. I was in there then the other day, and they said they can't get it. Their supplier won't do it anymore. So then that means I got to order some. But the only problem is I need it now. Okay, so I went through, you know, what slow setting glues I have. Okay, and I have a little small one of this Humbrol poly cement, which works, and also I have this testers. So I'm going to give a go with the testers. I've never used this. I've never used the testers one. Okay, I can't remember where I got it. Actually, I think it was with one of the kits, but I just don't remember which kit I got it with. But I'm going to give this one a try. Okay, and I'm going to give it a go on the wheels. Now, it hasn't even been, as you see, it hasn't even been opened yet. So I'm going to use this one on the wheels. I'll give it a blast anyway. We'll see how that works. So I'm going to glue on the wheels, and then I'm going to get started then on the tracks. Okay, so I'm going to leave this video at this. No, I'm not actually. I'm going to get the tracks done, and we'll have a look at the tracks all fitted as well. Okay, and then I'll let me see now. We'll look at the instructions. Yeah, that's as, you know, then there's the back piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get as far as the back piece on, and then I'm going to leave the video at that, and then we'll go on to the top section. So I'm going to go on and get the tracks done. We'll have a look at the tracks when they're done. Okay, when they're all together assembled, I'm going to have them laid out flat. Going to show you about gluing them together and wrapping them around. Okay, so catch you now in a few minutes. Well, a few minutes for you. Quite judging by the amount of little tracks and things I got to do, it's going to take a while. Just bring that over another little bit. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I do link and length tracks. Probably already seen it before, and it's the same process for indie link tracks. Okay, excuse me. What I got down here is a strip of double-sided tape. Okay, ordinary double-sided tape, but the medium to low tack, you don't want it too strong. I find this stuff here, the padded stuff, unbelievably strong. Well, this roll of it anyway is definitely it's far too strong for that. I'd never get the bloody things off. Okay, so I got my length of double-sided tape. Okay, then I lay out above the track, okay, what I'm going to do. So I need my long piece, I need one short, a piece 5, which is this one here. Okay, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. Okay, actually that is not the piece I was talking about. Actually, here's the one I was talking about. There we go. I know it was looking a bit big, and then I was going, oh god, the longer ones go on, right? So we've got the long piece, one track, hang of them, 9 of these, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them, and then one long one. Okay, a number 2. Alright, this side then. Okay, the other side, I need 2 of these, 1, 2 of them, then our little link piece or length piece. Okay, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then our long piece again. Alright, so as you can see that there, okay, all just laid out in front, just to make sure that you know that you have your tape long enough. Now, obviously the tape isn't long enough for that, but when you put all them together, the tape will be long enough. So, next step now is to peel off the tape. Start at one end, I'll start with this one, stick it to the tape, but because it's a length I can go kind of slightly off the tape, which also gives me a good start for getting in underneath. So I'm going to set them all out, and then I'll show you gluing them and taking them apart as well. Okay, so we'll stop the camera. I'll bring it back on then when I've got the pieces all laid out and I'm getting ready to glue. Right, so there's my track. Okay, I'll just bring it back a slight bit there so you can see it, because I'm kind of at the extent of the arm of the camera thing. Okay, squeak squeak. Up a bit, John, up a bit. Why just doesn't stay? Right, you might be able to see these little faint arrows. Okay, what those little faint arrows are, right? I'll zoom down. You have to go down to see the arrows. See the arrows I've marked there. So what those arrows marks are doing are they're separating my long one here in the center, which is that one here. Then I've got at this side I've got one link. Then I've got one of these straight bits here which has got 6 links on it. Okay, and then I've got my, that's there, 6 links, and then I've got my 9 links at this side, and then my straight bit, because we don't want to be gluing in the bit that's already, you know, stuck together. Not that we don't want to be wasting glue, we don't want to be using too much glue and having too much glue in there. Okay, so mark out the pieces where you're going to glue. Okay, now thing I find handy, if you're not using the needle tip Rebel Contact Professional, where you could just go into each one like that. Okay, and I'm using this one here, which is the Testers. To me, a paint pot, turn it upside down, you have a nice little glass well there. Okay, and squirt yourself out a nice bubble of glue. That's far too much, but anyway, far too much. Well done, John. I always like wasting stuff anyway, right? With your toothpick, just a little toothpick, little blob of glue where you want it, okay. In the joins. Like I said, we got 9 of these little links here, just to make sure. Okay. Little blob of glue to each of our connectors, and let it soak down into it. Okay, that's why you use a slow setting glue. So you can take your time putting these on. Okay, and you've got a nice bit of wiggly time where the pieces are together but they're still flexible. So I'm going to finish off these. I'm going to leave it set for about, I'd say about 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, literally only that, 4 or 5 minutes. Now, I'm not using the proverbial 5 minutes or the Irish 5 minutes where sort of it's a bit longer than that. I mean 5 minutes. 5 minutes time, then you come back to me and I'll slice it all off and we'll attach it then to our tank. Fold it over and leave that set then overnight. Okay, but don't join the ends. We'll show you that now when I get to that. So I'll just stop the video. I'll continue on gluing up and I'll leave it for 5 minutes. Okay, so now it's been about 5 minutes or so. Another handy tool is one of these. Okay, you know, the old cheapest chips. Not as rusty as this one, but what's it called? Utility knives, carpet knives, box cutters, whatever you want to call them. Okay, very handy for this purpose. Slide it down underneath. Okay, you watch what I'm doing, and just keep it slight angle and move it across. Move it across the whole way. Okay. Oops. See now where it can get kind of difficult, where the glue is still a little bit soft. Okay. And where it does split like that, just take it off. Don't worry about it straight away. Just what you want to do is you want to get it off the sticky tape. Okay, that's your hard bit. Believe it or not, that's your hard bit. Get it off the sticky tape. Now, once it's off the sticky tape, I gotta put on my goggles again, just to make sure that I have it nice and set proper. Okay. If it pops off, just pop it back in there again. Okay. So now we've got our track off the tape. Okay. we find our long straight bit, which is here. Okay. And we sit our wheels onto that. And we start with the hard side, purely because you've got to try and get it to fit around the drive sprocket. Okay. Now you will have to go in from the side there. It's very awkward. I don't like how they put that on already. Okay. Don't like that idea at all. But nothing I can do about that. Okay. Here we are again. Bring it up on its side, make it handy for yourself. Feed it around. Okay. Now, it will do that. It will fall apart on you. I mean, it's very rare when I'm doing one of these that it hasn't kind of fallen off once or twice. But what's making this that extra little bit harder is the fact of this piece here. It's making it fair hard to get in there. But once it's set, once your glue has set, it will be an awful lot easier. Okay, but make sure you're in around there. You're in around your sprocket. Okay, so in around the sprocket. Now, because it's got a center return roller up here at the top, you're not going to have the problem of that doesn't go over there, it goes on in there. Alright, you're not going to have the problem of sag. Okay, so you don't have to worry about sag at all. It's all fiddle a bit, move a bit, fiddle a bit, move a bit. Make sure that if it pops out of there, you pop it back in. Okay. That's what what you don't want it to do is to look like it's solid, if you know what I mean. You want it to look natural. Oh, I'm having a problem with this bloody piece. But do I have it around the wrong way? No. Just had to check that. Okay. Not really too worried about my join up there. Not at the moment. It's going to be under the side skirts, but just put it up there and leave it in place, and there you go. There's our track fitted. Okay, nice and neat and tight around your idler wheel, nice and tight around the sprocket, and once they're tight in around there, you should have no problems. Okay, now fiddly bloody diddly. It's always fiddly, isn't it? Modelling is like that. Plenty of fiddly little bloody things. Okay. Make sure that before you sit it down that you're happy with it. Okay, so I'm happy with the front, I'm happy with the bottom, and I'm happy there at the back of that. So now, just leave it sit there. And leave that sit. And leave that sit overnight. Now, because that was so fiddly and so kind of awkward really, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that sit overnight and then do the other side, because it didn't actually take that long. It was very fast, purely down to the fact that it's so small. It's not a large large tank, you know, not like a Tiger or anything like that. So the tracks were was done very fast. Oh, excuse me. And also the fact that the sprue gates where they're joined are right here at the sides, and if you go in with a good snips, get right in there, you'll have no clean up whatsoever. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, I'm going to leave them overnight. Tomorrow night then I'm going to do the other side, and then fit on the back. Then I can paint the bottom section. Okay, but what I might actually do is I might just have the bottom section and leave it aside and do the painting. You know, leave it until I've the top ready to go on as well. But you know me, that's all subject to change, like everything else. So I'll get back to you. We'll have a look at it tomorrow night when I've got the other side done, and that's sitting down as well. And we'll also see how this turned out, and taking this off. Okay, so we can get in then to get that painted. Will it come off easy enough? Because of these bloody sponsons, I don't like the idea of them being on. But I mean, they must have come up with their reason for doing it. To me, I wouldn't have done it. Not when you're using that type of track. Okay, it's okay if you're putting it on like that, and then you're going to paint your track on. You know, paint it like that. Paint your track on the vehicle. Some people do it that way. I've had to do it in the past. Like I said, we'll see tomorrow when in trying to remove the track from the wheels. Will it come off easy enough? Especially the fact that the wheels are glued in and everything else. I can't sort of pop the whole thing off because those wheels were so loose. I wanted to be sure that like when we were putting on the tracks there, if those wheels started wobbling and would have just made a bloody well nightmare whatsoever. So I'm going to leave it at that. We'll see it tomorrow night and see what it looks like. Right, so I left the tracks on overnight, so they're now sort of solid, and that's the problem, they're solid. They're not stuck to the return rollers or anything like that. Well, they are now because I glued them back into place, but it's down to this thing here. You can't sort of open it off, and the fact that I glued in the wheels as well, you can't kind of pop them off and paint them as a separate item. So it's back to the drawing board. So what I did was I looked through YouTube to see that anybody, other people that had built this kit and how they got over the tracks, and I found Hamilcar Barkas. He built this kit, did a beautiful job of it, and obviously he'd foreseen this problem here with that, and what he did was he glued on these two wheels, left those four off, painted the wheels separately. Okay, then what he did was he painted the tracks on the sprue and then literally built them onto the wheels. No, not as separate pieces, painted them as a separate piece, so painted the tracks on the sprue. So obviously I can't do that because I'm after going ahead and getting this much done. So it's a case of this side, I'm going to have to, we're kind of blurry there, I'm going to have to replicate exactly the same thing at this side, which does mean that I'll end up fitting the this triangular piece and the other bit of the fender. There it is there in the drawing. Okay, so I'm going to fit that and that. Okay, going to get them fitted. It just means that I'm going to have to paint the tracks on the vehicle, which isn't really too hard. It's just it can be a bit awkward at times, but it's not going to be impossible. What you do is you just paint them, and any bits that are gone on into this, you just go back over and touch up. So I'll get it done anyway. I'll do it with a hairy stick. Get them all painted. So I'm not really too worried about that. Okay, so the next step for me now is to get the other track on, put on the whatchamacallits, the other fender bits. Okay, so I'm going to get them done, and I'm also going to get step 5 done. Okay. Step 5 is putting on the rear plate, okay, the back here, the sort of protective pieces or whatever they are, they've got to go on, and fit up the back of it, get it all sorted. So I'm going to go off and I'm going to get that done. We'll have a look at it, and that'll be the end then of this video. In the next video then we'll get on with the upper hull. All the bits and pieces that go into the upper hull and get that sorted. So for now we're back onto the tracks again. It's build the second track, get that on, and just carry on from there, I suppose. We'll have a look at it then when that's done, and like I said, we'll just have to paint them when the whole thing is finished. Okay, so best laid plans of mice and men, as I say, the best laid plans of mice and men. So I'm going to go off and get that done, and we'll have a look at it then. Okay. Right, so I'm after getting it this far now. Okay, I have both tracks on. I have the I suppose you call them sponsons, whatever they're called here. Fenders, side fenders, sponsons, thingy-majiggies. They're in place anyway. Okay, both of those are in place. The triangular bits and the back. Okay, that's all done. Right, so that's it then for this video. In the next video we're going to carry on with the upper hull. We've got to make our back plate add them all onto the upper piece. Slowly build that up. Okay, loads of work here to do, adding bits and pieces into that. So we'll get all that done in the next video. So for this video, we've got the bottom part done. Now, it didn't go the way I had originally planned it to do. I was hoping that I'd be able to, you know, take off the tracks and the wheels and paint the bottom separately, the way I normally do a kit. But each kit sort of defines how it goes. The kit itself dictates what way you're going to do it. When I do the second one, I'll do the bottom part slightly different. I won't glue the wheels on. I'll glue these two on, paint everything then, you know, including the top, the whole lot, build the whole lot up, and paint these wheels, the road wheels, paint them separately, paint the track on the sprue, and then build the track up on the model kit itself. So basically kind of putting on the tracks the same way, but going about it a different way. Okay, so that's it for this video. Like I said, don't forget to stay tuned for part 2. Part 2 we'll be building up the rest of the little Hetzer, getting the rest of it done, and the next video after that then we'll be painting and the various bits and pieces. So that's it for this one. Like I said, I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, enjoy your modelling. Don't forget to join me on Monday for myself and Abby for our bum. I should have a bit more done, so I get to see a bit then in that, and anything that's popped up in the meantime. So I'll catch you then. Stay safe in the meantime, be nice to one another. Don't forget, enjoy your modelling. Enjoy it. That's what it's there for. It's there to enjoy. It's a hobby. Hobbies are there to be enjoyed, and to pass your time, rather than sort of sitting down watching the old goggle box. I'm not a one for television, so I enjoy doing this. So I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, enjoy your modelling, be nice to one another, go and buy yourself a kit, build it and enjoy it, and I'll see you soon.